Time to review the Valley card from last Saturday, which saw, of course, the Moir Stakes. Barrackeel, obviously the headliner of that particular event. Roy, obviously we're here to review the meeting, which means let's talk about how the track played, what effect the wind had, and any other circumstances that you feel are relevant. So take it away. What are you telling us about the track on Saturday?
Well, yeah, it was. I mean, if you're in the chat room, you would have seen I was a little bit stunned. I thought it was a bit unexpected. Usually, you get this sort of Moonee Valley Velodrome meeting on Cox Plate Day. That's been my sort of always sort of go-to on Cox Plate Day. Is I want to be on something running on. But they brought it out early for us. So I mean, I guess the wind had a big part in that too, didn't it?
Well, let's see if we can tease out the wind, because if I bring up the map of Moonee Valley, and we can talk about what was happening. So there's your map of Moonee Valley. Here's your 1,200 metre start. There's your 1,000 metre start, and your 1,600 metre starts over here. So the wind seems to be sort of 30-ish from the north, at least for the first 6 races. It seems to drop off for the last few, but basically your wind is coming down here. And I guess my theory is that wind is most significant in the first 300 metres, and is most significant if it travels across the course to you. So I guess it is travelling across the course, and it's hitting these runners as they leave the 1,600 on the fence initially, and as they turn into it as they come along the side. So I don't know if you noticed, Roy, anything about those sort of leaders as they turned into the side. The wind appeared to be in their faces, and a bit of an issue.
Yeah, I mean, I guess at the end of the day, it was just a day to have cover. I mean, Moonee Valley can play like that. Especially with that rail in the true, where we've seen in the past those slingshot horses and the late run, and they just appear, and they just and you watch it and you think, geez, that went good, and then they start doing it all day.
Yeah. As far as the track speed from ratings to win came out at 3.0, which is, it's not as firm as you'll get, but it's certainly on the firm side. And as I say, that probably the combination of the wind, the rail back in the true, the firm surface, and it all conspired to create an off-pace scenario. So obviously we'll pay attention to which horses may have done well up on the speed by the sounds of it. Let's go to our first race, which is the 3-year-old race over a mile. Not a stellar field, that's for sure. But in this race, initially Ornos found the lead, but Graphic Sight was sooled around them by Craig Williams to go around and lead. It well and truly dropped out. So here he goes across in those Yulong colours. And Menchevik settling third. Poor old Johnny Ray is in 4th position. And then we have Gottfried Kirk, which ran favourite, and the winner, Miwa, settles last. So I guess on the face of it, Roy, the second horse appears to have done a fairly good job, given that it's 4.5, well, what is it, nearly 5 lengths away to Gottfried Kirk in third. They've gone out moderate, come home genuine to moderate pace shape.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought was fairly sort of even sort of tempo. Look, yeah, the first two have done a good job in that they've beat the rest by 5, but I think it's worth noting that the stewards report said abnormal respiratory noises from Gottfried Kirk. So I don't think you could sort of say that it performed on the day. And then in 4th, you've got the 100-to-1 shot, poor old Johnny Ray. So, and Graphic Side, well, you just can't go. They've tried going back, they've tried leading, and it just can't go. Got beaten 8 lengths. So, I think the others just failed probably in reality, but they're still good. Still, it's a tick, I guess, the 5-length margin. Look, Miwa's obviously, found its forte, which is obviously 1,600. It's had a couple of runs where it's got back and hasn't been able to get into the race, and that's probably going to be something to remember in the future. That that 1600 suits obviously likes Moonee Valley too. It could just obviously slingshot late there, and Ornos is getting deep into the prep. I mean, it was honest, but it's probably no match for the winner really. And I wouldn't say that they went overly hard in front.
Yeah, well, that's how
It was
the figures
probably
came
just
out.
an even tempo. So it has faced the breeze, but yeah, look, Miwa was only sort of third up, so it's probably the horse you want to take moving forward. But yeah, and as for Gottfried, well, yeah, who knows what's happened there? Yeah, punters certainly had had a few respiratory issues after the race too, didn't they? At
Yeah,
the
they sure did.
170.
So I'm not sure what these figures are there down here on racing.com, but they appear to be some sort of pars for 200 metres sections. I'll let someone else tell me what's going on there. It looks a bit of a hollow affair, doesn't it?
Yeah, look, I think that they've probably just stood up and performed those two, and the rest have sort of failed. Um, just going on times, raw times. The race two, they ran very similar times, almost spot on from memory. I think, correct, Mark?
Yeah.
So,
So they've run a half a second quicker, come home half a second quicker. So yeah, it's hard. There's a half a second in the last 600 there in the next race.
yeah,
Got
and
out the same
there's
first
only Jazz
1,000.
Affair in the second race. I mean, it's a borderline midweeker, so um, that's something to note anyway.
All right, so in race two, they've gone out below average and they've come home genuine. It's a below average pace shape, which is not that dissimilar to the first race. The Marge Factor trying the 1600's gone out to the lead, tracked by Yakio. So Sevilla is handy, as is Electric Bell, and both of those disappeared right out of the race.
Yeah, didn't they?
Uh,
Yeah.
and the winner is in fifth position.
Yeah, just got the kind run there in the yellow sleeves, blue and the yellow sleeves, Jazz Affair. Like I said, I mean, the horse is not going anywhere. It's had plenty of runs this time in. It's been ran around the midweeks. So, I don't think this race is anything to take moving forward. Japanese horse ran second there, Yichio, or however you say it, perfectly sort of ridden by Craig. Had every chance from barrier one to have the race shot to bits, probably sort of here, but Jazz Affair said, no, I'm going to come.
Not
And
dissimilar
that
to the
was,
next race. It's
sorry.
sort of not dissimilar to the next race where King
Yeah.
Secret gets runs over. It's got that sniper's feel about it that
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The track, that was the way it was, wasn't it? I mean, you can't deny it. Lake Vostok getting up into third there on the fence. Moonlight Circus was a bit disappointing. Perhaps the Valley's not the go. A little bit sideways on the corner, but didn't really attack the line. And the one making ground out there wide is Into You, but not much else to report really. Stupendous was three wide. I can't really get excited about these horses, and that was probably the case pre-race as well.
yeah, you wouldn't be surprised just to see most of them running around at a mile at Sandown and the midweeks, would you? I mean, it's just that's the pool of horses there. All right, so not much to say there in race two, and that makes sense because it was a fillies and mares for the cheap rate of 80K. So Far Flung finally broke through after being well placed, I suppose, but had been well
Yeah.
placed previously this preparation. They've gone out average and come home fast, so that's another below average pace shape. And the
The wind may
times
have, some of these times guys are going to have a few issues with the wind on this day, aren't they? Sort of,
maybe,
slowing down that front section.
yep.
Yeah, perfectly ridden from Craig in the barrier one in fourth there on the fence. Just appears at the right time to grab Kings Valley, who's just outside it in the check sleeves and cap. The Creator sort of dominated the pace up the front there with Dragoon outside it, and then really sort of got going quite early on the Creator. I guess he thought, well, he's fit and, he loves the Valley and, he likes leading by, that's how he won the other day. So they decided to sort of, put a bit of spice into it sort of a little bit earlier than expected, but wasn't to be. And a little bit disappointing, I guess, was Presser. He's out the back there, white cap. He makes some sort of a run, but not enough to sort of get into the race. And the pattern suited on the day. So I'm not really quite sure what to make about that. He sort of makes a half a run here and then a half a run in the last 100 metres. So again, these horses are not really going anywhere. They're not spring horses.
Well, I guess Kings Valley only second up and still relatively lightly raced would be seen as a potential like
Did have that win in Sydney. I think he beat Birdman home that day, didn't it?
yeah, he won the last
Yeah.
race at an 88 on the Saturday in Sydney,
Yeah, so
which
that's Saturday form, I guess. But um, that's pretty much, he's probably the only horse with sort of Saturday credentials, isn't he? The surprise was Falcon of Malta getting back. Got beaten a long way, got beaten a furlong, but yeah, that was a bit of a surprise for the speed, mate.
yeah,
But
that was mentioned in the steward's report that yeah, was being restrained.
mm,
So no mention of the fact that why was it being restrained? And you correctly, you put Dragoon to the sword on the Thursday show, and he's going backwards in a hurry.
mm,
So yeah, not much to say here, I guess, Roy.
nah, definitely not.
Moving right along to the staying race on the card was a stirring battle, if we can say that.
Early stage is interesting here.
Fought out by the protagonists that have been doing battle at Moonee Valley across the course of three meetings. A horse that you have given good mention to in previous preview shows, Almerac, was good. Anyway, they've gone out genuine and come home average, which is an above average pace shape, and the barrier rearrangement meant that Navy King got crossed early and then is stuck out there and has to make sort of a mid-race move to get into his favoured position.
Yeah,
So initially, Miss Tarzi is in front. Rise to It's always up there. Super Stock is handy. Lincoln Rocks is up there, and Navy King goes around them now to seek the lead. So what do you
he's
make
probably
of?
doing it at a point in time in the race where they're not going that hard, but it was far from ideal. They did question him in the steward's report. I'm not really sure what to make of all that. He sort of jumped a bit sideways, and then but he was handlebars. He just didn't want to go forward on it for whatever reason. So until later in the race. So yeah, strange. It was probably the run of the race. They'll get beaten three-quarters of a length or something after doing a little bit of work early. Well found, Rise to It, the winner there, Mark. That was a good find. I was sadly on Almerac in the pink colours, who's been given every chance by Craig Williams.
It's poised nicely, isn't it?
Perfect spot there, wasn't to be.
Well, you'd prefer not to have to go. You'd prefer to not have to go forward deep around them. But anyway,
Yeah, possibly. I mean, they've had a very strange preparation with that horse. They tried leading, they tried going up to 2400. It just, it hasn't worked out, that horse. Maybe it's just not up to it anyway. But yeah, I think there's not much more you could say here. Lincoln Rocks runs third there in the OTI colours, just looming into third. And that's pretty much it. Elsie May ran fifth, so that probably sums things up.
yeah. Well, Lincoln Rocks has got that fabulous valley, those fabulous valley creds. So I don't know if you can take him anywhere off that, despite the fact that he's had relatively well. He's had a light preparation so far. So I think it looks very exposed, this race.
Yeah, very much. Rise to It's had a lot of runs this preparation, isn't it?
Yeah, it was just absolute kitchen sink. Get him home, and who knows what happens after that. So yeah, look, we've done the sort of first four races, and they are very tradesman-ish, aren't they?
Mm.
So moving on to something a little more dynamic, we go to the sprint course after 3 miles and a 20 and 40, which does get us a bit excited. They've gone out above average here and come home genuine, so it's an average pace shape. But there was a bit of competition up the front. Obviously, Red Hot Nick has gone to the lead. Compelling Truth races outside. Miraval Rose is along the inside. Zoo Sensation goes around them.
Yeah, misses the start, and then she basically pleaded Millum that she just couldn't hold it, which I'm going to be okay with, because that's kind of happened a couple of other times in this preparation. I mean, that happened at Flemington when it won.
Yeah. Okay,
But
so
far from ideal for people that backed it.
all right, so Angel Capital gets off the inside, the Pendragon drops off, and Angel Capital's able to get off and get into the running line, and just cruises around them, wins by 3 3/4.
Yeah, dominant.
So yeah, that's pretty exciting for all concerned. What is it? What do we make of this, Roy?
Oh, yeah, I think it was a superb performance. And again, another Yulong horse that just come back so well. I can't believe we're saying it, but anyway, they're just on fire, that Yulong brigade. And yeah, look, the trials did show that it had come back well, and it didn't disappoint at all. But the leaders ran along a bit, nothing too crazy. They ran along a bit, where they ran 35-1 and 34-8 basically. So, um, they ran along, but nothing to make them collapse or anything. Red Hot Nick had his wins. In the beauty of hindsight, it looks like Red Hot Nick had his wins, and he wasn't up to it. And obviously facing the task of leading on the day didn't help. But yeah, once he collapsed, there was going to be curtains for the others. They just weren't going to have the class. And yeah, it's on a bigger fish to fry for Angel Capital. And Zoo Sensation, well, yeah, like I said, I mean, it pulled and got caught wide, but buck stops here. I think now it's yeah, in spring.
Okay, so we know these four horses that are 4 lengths away pretty well.
Yeah, Compelling Truth in the red.
And they've all done their best to a degree. I'd suggest that the winner has
There's no knock, is there?
comfortably. It's a lovely pipe opener.
Mm.
Where to for the winner, do you think, Roy? What sort of race would you think he's alive, well and truly alive in?
I hadn't thought about it. Well, whatever they choose, really. I mean, that's that Compelling Truth's not a legless horse,
No. They've
second in the morning there in Sydney, and just seems to go up to Brisbane and win every time it goes up there. So Miraval Rose, it was tuned up for this. So I thought maybe off the trials, it's in the lime green there, back on the fence. Zoo Sensations won 3 in a row this time in. Yeah, it's just whatever they want to put it in. It's just going to be winning probably.
All right. Well, that is thrilling if you are part of Angel Capital.
Yeah.
It was thrilling on Saturday if you were into Angel Capital, which many, many were. And we then go on to look at one of the most interesting winners on the day, I guess, in terms of a hype scenario.
Bit of talk, isn't there, about horse?
Yeah, so this was the unraced horse winning the 3-year-old males 1200. Gone out moderate. They've come home above average. They've gone. It's a below average pace shape, and it's
a
parked.
bit slower in this one.
Yeah, it's parked in the box seat. Bakash, who we know pretty well now. Bakash is pretty well exposed. He leads. The best scar is sitting second. The winner is third. One out, one back is Space Rider. Streamo's over on the inside there, just getting off the inside, pushing something else 3 deep. Steel Knight. And that's Planet Red, and out the back there is Stay Cosmic, which winds up into second spot. Sort of threads his way through the field there. Bakash and Beskar, they're full bore. The winner's getting off the inside and going to let down strongly here. So, Roy, give us your analysis. Stay Cosmic pinned to the inside there.
Yeah, probably didn't corner that well, the winner. I mean, first start, big effort, and then really sort of let down late. So there's probably a little bit more than just the half-length margin there, I thought. Mind you, a lot of horses didn't corner very well at Moonee Valley on Saturday, but at its first start, it's done a good job. I mean, it's had a kind run in transit, but it's quite a big strong type, and that's what it sort of looked like, in the barrier trials, all the jump outs, it looked like quite a big strong horse. And didn't corner very well. And there's probably something extra in there. Stay Cosmic's perfectly ridden. It's probably been the one that sort of just saved ground barrier one and probably had all the favours despite getting back in a slowly run race. But Cash, it's just had everything made to order there. So obviously,
except for the fact that it was hard to lead on the day.
Except for leading, I guess, yeah. But certainly, yeah, a lot slower up front here. 35-9 early and 35 home. So. The run was nice from this fourth horse, Planet Red. Normally goes forward, got back for whatever reason, and just hit the line nicely. Hit the line as well as the winner, actually. So I think you can probably just keep an eye on it moving forward. Estrimo's probably in the bin now. That was pretty plain, and
especially with a
Beskar,
tune up.
Sydney and Brisbane punters are going to have to keep an eye out for it because they said in the stewards report they want to go clockwise now.
Yep, that's the horse that's running sixth there. Yeah, so Planet Red away from Moonee Valley maybe because it.
Yeah, it's worked home nicely. I think they said. I think Blake Shin said that Beskar was on the wrong leg or something, and you can see it hanging out a bit there. But
yeah,
Space Rider was horrible.
Yeah, well, he he's from a first up yard, and if the trainer said Gerald Ryan and Sterling Alexiou, you'd just be, oh yeah, well that's what happens.
Yeah.
And I guess
I think they interviewed the trainer. He said they're going to take blood and see what happens, but they couldn't offer any explanation.
Yeah, he was under pressure way out after using the rails on the 5 metre rail 2 weeks ago. So
yeah, that's true.
I guess he was flattered first up, and it didn't suit him second up.
Yeah, a lot of talk about the winner, wasn't there, Mark? The fact that it was unraced, winning a good race. Well, good race in name, but
and as I say, we do have a fairly Bakash is a pretty exposed horse. We know where it sits.
Yeah.
So that's your litmus test or line on the race barometer.
Yeah, it hasn't been a great deal, has it? And the opportunity, the door was open pre-race, wasn't it? You could tell that there wasn't a strong field.
No, I guess he'll go to the Caulfield Guineas Prelude, the 1400-metre race, and see what happens.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he'll probably keep improving.
So I think we need to see him again, really, to get a good line on him. He's captured a lot of attention. This filly, Alpha Sophie, that was trained, I think, on the Sunshine Coast in Brisbane, and first start for Moody here. She attacked the line.
What a ride!
They've gone out below average and come home above average. And the speed has pretty much fallen over. Angel Ladder and the Playwright are part of the speed.
Yeah.
They knock up to run second last and last.
Terrible. They kind of look to be going a bit quick early and then slow down mid-race. So, look, they certainly were pretty plain. The winner's just been ridden perfectly there in the yellowish colours, yellow-brown, sort of three back the fence there. Just saves all the ground and gets the momentum up at the valley. So important with clear running on the turn. And I would suggest that probably, that's as good a performance as you'll see from it. Normally gets back too. Didn't get as far back this time. Perhaps maybe with Moody they might be able to get it ride closer, but just everything went.
Yeah, things worked out very well for her there. I mean, after being sort of like, okay, it's going to be held up here. At this point, and then it just sneaks back inside, and then the leaders roll off, and it's all happy days. Meanwhile, Custom, who was sitting outside it, it's circumnavigating.
Makes the run, in the all blue out there. One of the favourites is out the back there in the green, running on Olay Dancer out wide late. Miss Celine underneath it there, underneath Custom there in the red and white. They're hitting the line late, but they've still been beaten a fair way, I guess. The one horse, maybe just to highlight, look, it didn't get out, so you didn't get to find out if there was anything there, but Zany Girl, ridden by Craig Williams, with the red cap and the blue, just tucked in behind the winner there, or just outside it, you'll see just that there's no opening for the entire straight.
Yeah, okay.
But Tassie also interesting. It's got been 5 lengths. Ferrivia, I'm not really sure what to make of that. It's sort of it was in the white and green
green cap there.
Was tracking up on the turn and then got cramped in between runners and then wanted to poke home late. Maybe it needs further or something. I'm not sure. That it was it was certainly not as dynamic as the start before.
Yeah, are they? Well, the 3-year-old fillies are often an even bunch. The winner appears to have been a little bit flattered, hasn't it? I mean,
it has.
Things have just gone wonderfully for it.
Yeah. Likewise for the grey Salty Pearl back on the inside, perfect ride.
Right. The 1500, which is an odd sort of race, doesn't have any black type, but it is obviously it's the race that Pericles won last year. It's a race for the better class horses because of the conditions of the race. So it attracts several runners from the PB Lawrence, and Desert Lightning and Moira had been around in the PB Lawrence, and Desert Lightning was expected to be well suited by the shape of this race. Slow out, very fast home. Glenda
Very
Silver,
slow, yeah.
yeah, Glenda Silver leading the winner here. Moira attrition is on the outside there of Goldman, and Moira is handy enough, although obviously on the back of attrition here, and as they slow up, not as well positioned as the winner.
Yep.
But sort of she's there on the turn, and you think, oh, okay, well, I wonder what she can do from this position. Anyway, what's your analysis?
Yeah, look, I mean, I guess the race worked out pretty much like maybe most thought on paper. They walked. Nolan did the right thing going forward on the winner, Desert Lightning, and getting up outside the lead and sort of putting the race to bed early, I guess you could say. Moira, they tried something that was good, that they went forward, put it in the race. Probably just wasn't good enough on the day. It's probably had its chance there. It sort of loomed a win, and the other ones just sort of fought back. And what can you say about the rest? Zardozi hits the line late into fifth. Nice little pipe opener for the preparation, as the caller highlighted. And that's the race. Attrition was disappointing. Attrition is just one of those horses that just seems to just go around. There's nothing extra there.
Yeah, he's just a 33-1 chance in the good better class races, and occasionally bobs up. So Zardozi, what do we do with her? Because she's not suited by the race shape. She's just having a barrier trial. She's worked home nicely. But
I think the speed of the race hurt it. They've come home really fast in this one, 34.8. I think that's the fastest. Is that the fastest last 600 of the day, this race?
Probably.
Equal with Angel Capital.
Yeah.
That sums up Zardozi's run. It just couldn't mathematically get into it from back there, and did a good job, really. But where do you take Zardozi? He's getting a bit older now.
Well, I presume she's going to Caulfield Cup, isn't she?
Yeah, well, aren't they all?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, yeah, look, you probably wouldn't want to bag any of these blue colours going to other stables at the moment, but I guess we've seen a lot of her, haven't we?
Yeah. I mean, she's the usual suspect. All right, so, quarter tick, pass mark, whatever you want to say about Zardozi. Let's move on to the feature. And, when you get this...
Set to go, and they're racing, and Rothfire was...
At the short course, like that's a big field. And as expected, there was a real jumble up in the straight. Lots of horses not getting clear passages. It is Moonee Valley. So I've got above average out, above average home, which is an average pace shape for this class. Well, for this, I mean, the way it's panned out. Midwest.
Yeah, I think it's on Marc,
Yeah, Midwest is underneath Escher, who pulls up lame, but we don't know how lame. The stewards won't tell us that.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it? I mean, it looked to be travelling on the turn and then hung out. And you kind of look like it probably went lame on the turn. Just, I'm no expert in that field, but you can sort of see it sort of lose its action on the corner. So you probably expect them to try and have a break now. Look, Alabama Lass was sort of looming just outside it there in the red, white, and blue. It's had every chance, perfectly ridden by Craig. And Arabian Summer's just underneath it in the yellow cap. They've run second and third. Barrack Hill tracking them. We know Barrack Hill in the orange, black and white.
Doesn't look a great position. I mean, it looks like a bit of a squeeze box there.
Yeah, it's probably still been a bit held up and won, Barrack Hill. So a lot was made of, there's certainly plenty of hard luck tails.
Skybird, Oak
purest passage. Yeah, the hard luck tails were obviously Skybird, which is back on the fence there. Rothfire's next to it. It gets cramped. Oak Hill's out the back, just doing Oak Hill things and not getting clear. um,
Although
and
he did say, Shin, that it was not going well enough. Like he needed just to hang to the rails because it wasn't travelling that well.
I don't know what
Well,
to make of that. Yeah. And Neon's is out sort of carried four wide there in the red and white. Does a good job. Although it gets
outside
beaten two and
Sir
a half lengths.
Sway. Yeah, it's she's definitely hanging on a limb there, isn't she, Neons? I mean,
Yeah.
trying to get around Sir Sway here.
And that's kind of the story. I mean, the overachiever of the race, which probably no one's probably spoken about, was Payline running fourth, only beaten length and a half. It's an underrated little horse, isn't it? Just keeps sort of bobbing up in these good, obviously bobbed up in those good races in Queensland, and yeah, it's
He's a
just
sniper. These are like he's just a
yeah,
horse that you
flashing home into fifth there. But yeah, look, they didn't probably go as hard as maybe some people thought. But that kind of sums up the race, really. Barracuda was in the right spot at the right time, and you're always going to get these sort of hard luck tails when the field was so compact at the 400.
Hmm.
4 lengths between all those runners at the Valley. You're gonna get trouble, aren't you?
Yeah. So these are sort of A minus grade sprinters. What do we say about these? I suppose horses like Neons, you'd go, well, that was that was hard for
Pass.
her. So
Yeah, pass, Mark, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah.
Obviously, the horse sort of you might be sort of interested in is I guess Skybird will probably it's got that Flemington win there. And this is probably not its track. You probably were looking at it. Well, I was certainly looking at it, Thursday and Friday, thinking, "Geez, this is probably not its target." Moonee Valley, 1,000 meters, and it's just trucked along them behind there with no room. So it's a nice little run moving forward. There's a couple of those horses that have had every chance, haven't they? I mean, Alabama Lass and Arabian Summer, they kind of got their chance there.
mm,
And Golden Boom, well, it's just Golden Boom. I mean, Straw and White, I guess, there, but just sort of, that's kind of it's just a go forward sort of honest horse, isn't it? I don't think there's anything wrong with Barracuda. I'm not bagging it. But
well, what's the plan with Barracuda? Because you would think
trying to get in the Everest.
yeah, I know, but the Manikato is sitting there
Yeah.
as an obvious target at Moonee
Well,
Valley.
they have these pop-up races in Sydney, Mark. I don't know if you're worth a fortune.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, basically, so you've got the Sydney set of races, or you've got, they'll have a straight race at Flemington over 1,200 on Turnbull Day, I imagine. There'll be an 1,100 metre at Caulfield over the Caulfield set. And then the Manikato. I suppose the bulk of these horses are thinking Manikato, unless you're Barracuda and you're trying to get in the
I think
Everest.
they're trying to put it out there for Barracuda if anyone was interested for the Everest, but I'm not sure if there's been any takers or any interest, but we'll wait and see.
So we've seen Barracuda did we see him down the straight in that? Did he run in that Darley? You make it into that field, the Sunshine in Paris race. I don't have it in front of me, but Barracuda away from the Valley. What
Loves the Valley, there's no doubt about it. Yeah, some of his performance there have been just superb, haven't they?
Yeah, he's happy horse at the Valley. No real answers there. And we get to the last where you were strong on, well, what I was calling the leader, but it didn't get the leader, did it? Princess Q.
Again,
had other
bottom
ideas
of the
here.
day. Yeah, no one wanted the lead, and that all worked it out. And I guess its chances were diminished come race time. Anyway, I mean,
Still,
did we
she's
have
run
the leader
boldly.
win?
They've gone out moderate, come home genuine. It's a moderate pace shape. So either fire is leading Princess
Yeah,
Q.
didn't
And
even want to cross. They walked a bit, really, didn't they?
Yeah, so King
And the
Zephyr
winner's done a good job. Le Fracas out the back. I was against it. I thought that that the horse fresh on the scene, King Zephyr, would be certainly better than it if a backmarker won the race.
yeah, so he's in front of it, King Zephyr, and now Lafracar is
Yellow.
going around King Zephyr.
And he's been disappointing, King Zephyr. I mean, maybe doesn't like the Valley or something, or I guess it was first up, but it was plenty of support for it, and just very one paced. I mean, Fission runs fourth, is only sort of 3/4 of a length behind it, just underneath it there in the all white. It looks like it's going to beat it home there. Jury's out for me on King Zephyr. I expected a bit more. I understand that it's hit the line the last 50 metres, but at no stage was it going to beat the winner. And Princess Q, well, it's just done its usual thing up the front there and just didn't get the sympathetic valley track that I imagined. But that's punting. That's racing, isn't it? But
Yep.
there's a little bit of a hard luck tail there. Runs second last. Probably one for Glenn Pollard. He loves those ones that are out the back and running
Flyer.
second last. Flyer in the red just didn't really get much momentum up here. Just gets a bit on heels. You can see he's crabbing quite well there. The jockey's got plenty of horse, and you can see he's just sort of hanging on to it, just waiting for the gap to open, and you'll find here it doesn't really open.
Yeah.
Just gets hampered there a couple of times, and it's probably the best second last of the day.
Huh. It's funny, King Zephyr got to 14. He got to 1,400 at Flemington on Anzac Day, which is only a midweek race, a $60,000 race.
Yeah,
And impressive there, but out to 1,400 at a midweek race, you're thinking maybe you'll be a miler on a Saturday, and maybe that was his.
yeah. Perhaps it was just a little pipe opener. Not quite sure. Yeah, I mean, the Valley is always can throw up some. Some horses don't like it, do they? I guess.
Still, if you've piled into King Zephyr at 6-4, you're not a happy camper there.
He's never going to win, was it?
All right, let's see if we can pick something out of the day. Well, I mean, interestingly, we are not back at the Valley until when? So we go
Is it Cox
Flemington,
Plato?
Caulfield, and then I suppose the Valley meeting is the Friday night of grand final weekend, where we've got the Stut Stakes and the Manicato Stakes and the Fian Stakes, and the Stock Stakes. So that looks to be a that's your feeder meeting, or the meeting that this review is feeding into.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how it plays. Usually, as I said, usually come around Cox Plate time. I mean, that Friday night can throw up anything. Can tend to be a bit leaderish, but yeah, usually Cox Plate day you want to be making a run around them, don't you? So
would they? I would think they would leave the rail in the true position for that meeting in 2 weeks' time.
I think they probably will. Don't forget that. Yeah, that they probably. It's not. I don't know how much attention Moonee Valley's getting at the moment. I mean, it's going to undergo that big renovation or whatever, isn't it? So
yeah. So after Cox Plate this year, it's effectively 3 weeks between Moonee Valleys there, from the Saturday we're reviewing to the Friday the 26th, which is also Lismore Cup Day if you're doing that. Let me see if I can find out where they stuck the rail last year for Moonee Valley. Because that will be interesting. Anyway, so go on, Roy. Are there any horses you can sort of feature?
Look, I mean, Captain Obvious with Angel Capital, isn't it? I mean, I think it was, I can't put a hole in the win. I mean, I guess the only thing you could say is it was a sweeper's day, but it looks a kind of horse that moving forward, Moonee Valley's probably not really going to be its go in life, and can only probably lift off that. So Captain Obvious there, but it was just such a dominant win, and I think there's a couple of other horses we've sort of mentioned. Obviously, Rosberg, that to do that unraced was strong. Keeping an eye on that zany girl, just being so badly locked away in that race. But that's probably the sort of the story. Fly is an interesting one. Maybe back in, if it could find a weakish sort of race. It's been back there, sort of locked away in second last that last race. But it probably wasn't a meeting with a lot of horses to follow. I don't think. What about you, Mark? Anything?
Yeah,
pop up?
look, it's surprising, isn't it? Because you think, okay, well, a meeting early in September is going to be chucking up all sorts of things at you. But I mean, Angel Capital picks himself. The 3-year-old boys and the 3-year-old girls, look, they I'm not sure if they're that good a team. The A- graders that will target the Fee and Stakes, Desert Lighting and Moira, but that they found a suitable race on Saturday. Barraquil he'll go into the Manikato in 3 weeks' time and probably be a lovely chance, but. And then the last. So it looks like they'll do the 3 meters out at Moonee Valley for the Manikato Stakes Day, Manikato Stakes Night, which last year was won by Southport Tycoon.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, that's
We'll wait to see.
pretty detailed review there, Roy. So. Of course, if you want to be a part of the Melbourne Pro-Punter service, which gets you sets and all sorts of ancillary information on race day,
Winner at Mudgee yesterday, a little bit short, but we take it. We take anything after the Valley.
And some tidbits. Yeah, don't forget the tidbits; they're pretty important. So the first 2 weeks are free if you've not tried before, and a subscription gets you access into the Melbourne Pro-Punter channel, run by our good man here, Roy. And he will have assessments and betting thoughts on the meeting and updates through the day. So take advantage of the free trial if you've not tried it and come on board because it's prime time.
That's it. Yeah, no, can only the racing's only going to get stronger from here, isn't it?
All right. So, Roy, we'll see you on Thursday for a preview of Flemington. Kev will be along for that one as well. So we'll look forward to that. See you then.
Thanks, Mark.